You don't feel sorry for an insect. Now, this is a heavy topic based off the speech in Full Metal Alchemist. Literally, I'm trying to literally explain to everybody, don't ever feel like you can persuade somebody when everything is going your way. Or everything is going their way, per se. That goes both ways. What an image insect can do is way worse than an actual insect. An actual insect has abilities that makes it hold weight in this world of why we actually need an insect. But when you actually view somebody as an insect, it's way more detrimental. And that's rude because literally people forget that animals exist nowadays. They forget that everything because they're in their own little world. And I'm trying to tell you, people consider you an insect. When a guy in special ed, especially if he's an anime fan or maybe an anime fan in general, goes up to a girl in high school and tries to actually get a date with her, she views him as her little cousin. And she doesn't want to date her little cousin. Why? Because she does not want to get with somebody who's gang member illiterate, who doesn't know anything about $100 shoes, who gets everything at the thrift shop. It's like, we do the same thing with my autistic cousin. That's what it looks like. I'm trying to let you know this is a cruel video. Let you know, stop thinking that people are going to be persuaded when they obviously have it better. Why are we going to listen to you saying Naruto Uzumaki believe it when we're comfortable on our asses, literally? And even though you're bearing us a life, what you're doing is irrelevant to our lifestyle. That is how people view other people nowadays. It's not cool. A school jock will stay a school jock and keep making out with a girl when like man literally starts working at Mac and Apple Tech and shit like that, and literally he's not gonna pay attention to him. He's like, oh no, my business. You think they're gonna be overwhelmed when he's just making out with the fucking girl? Even though you achieve greatness, he's still taking it casual. He's still living his life like a teenager when he's 25 and shit. You think he's gonna feel sorry, or you think he's gonna feel jealous when he's nonstop dopamine? That doesn't mean he's a better person. That means he's a shitty person because he's taking drugs over life. Those girls and that all that pleasure that gives him with no discipline, that's just a drug. And you're actually living life by achieving greatness. But don't expect him to actually feel bad for it. He's gonna get it one day, like it's gonna be karma and stuff like that. Not facing challenges will always give you karma because that's the whole point of life is for you to step up to it. And so Lily, so don't feel sorry for that. I mean that in both ways, Lily. When you become a grown man, what you have to do is you view everybody as God. So Lily, you view the potential that you had when you were younger. You don't discriminate, but I'm trying to let you know, don't feel sorry for you when you recognize how much power you actually have, and Lily, how great you are as a person. I'm not gonna feel sorry that anime nerd is trying to get me to reconsider how I view anime, or a girl is trying to reconsider how I literally deal with girls and shit. When I already proven that I know how to treat girls right on paper over and over and over again, I don't have to listen to that. Literally, I don't have to listen to somebody who's lower of a tier than me when it comes to living life, even if they have shit on paper, because I know I have it better. You don't view the lower person as a threat. You view him as an insect. I can tell you why that's very bad. But it's very, 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 very bad for you to literally be inconsiderate of a power level. Recognizing power level is what makes life complex because literally, you don't think about it that way. You don't think about the different roles people play in life. You know how people make a joint effort to beat somebody, understanding their roles and how they play it. Literally, that's what basketball is all about. You have different roles and you have to play that role. You can't play outside your role, but you can do the best with your role. I had to accept that I look sexy and that I look handsome and that I was a nerd with no personality. So once I had personality, I finally became girls' dreamboat. But it was actually rewarding. It wasn't full of shit. It wasn't fake. It's like, oh man, they shouldn't be judgmental. I'm like, I'm sorry, it's a huge buzzkill when I have a pretty face, great muscles, but no personality or nothing is going my way. Nothing to offer them at all. Lily, no personality. Lily, that is the biggest buzzkill. You think they should accept that? Or do you think that you should shove it down their throat that that's being unrealistic? Once I became the man that they fantasize about, the man they always wanted me to be, it was actually a good thing because I was a good person first. But now I realize how bad people have it. Like literally, I realize how nerds, after they've been put in the same position that I was in for years, I talked to them like, I don't feel considerate of your situation because it was an insect compared to what I had to deal with. They could know you're everything, but if you're not even treated like that, they can turn a king into an insect because of how much power that girls have in society. Girls, literally, when they view people, they will shit on people, they will stomp on people, even though they feel insecure. That's the thing about girls. They'll put you in an insect position, but they'll feel insecure themselves. Because literally, that's a part of being a human. That's a part of everything. People are inconsiderate. And just like this guy named Arturo, this speech is inspired by an old friend named Arturo who loved Fullmetal Alchemist, who subbed it down my throat. And I was watching that shit high as fuck, and I was scared out of my mind because Father was like, you don't feel inconsiderate for an insect. Well, I'm always considerate about all wildlife because of the fact that literally, the insect isn't only like necessary for plant survival, it's necessary for a whole bunch of other shit. They feed us with nutrients, they have a whole lot of protein. There's a lot of facts about like insects and shit, but the main part about it is this: I'm not gonna view you as a king where I already know what your inside is. If I know that you're an insect on the inside, I don't care if you're a bodybuilder. I'm like, those muscles are compensated for something. You have to understand, like Lily, I have the right to view it that way because I actually earned it. But I'm here to tell you that I don't view a nerd that doesn't have a good social life like I do as an insect. I don't view them that way. But I will consider them an insect if they try to threaten me like they're an actual threat. If they try to threaten me like they're an actual threat and I know that they're an insect, I'm going to call out that they're an insect. Because that's what somebody who's actually responsible does. What Father said is a really, really ignorant statement, and that's why I feel like Fullmetal Alchemist is highly overrated. It is incredibly overrated. I feel like the first one was so original and the best shit ever. I feel like Brotherhood fucked up the whole originality of the first one. So you have to understand that this speech was inspired by Lily, how girls view shit in life. Like Lily, I had to deal with people knowing I was a shit, but put me in the insect position, and they felt bad every single time. So Lily, it wasn't enough that they took my privileges away. Now they gotta make me paraplegic. Because literally of how raw I deal with the situation, how raw I am as a person. That was literally, they're like, how can he still be surviving? If we're in his shoes, we'd be crazy. Literally, they're in a king's position, but they're trying so hard to get at literally somebody who they consider an insect when they realize that literally, I'm flexible like the Joker. Whether you make fun of me or not, I still put in more work than you. And if I was put in a position where literally both of us are stranded, I'll be able to make it out better because I have a talent and you sit on your ass all day. To all nerds, you don't feel sorry for an insect. I have been telling you guys over and over and over again that it's not about viewing people as an insect. It's giving credit where credit is due. That's what makes a real man. That's what makes a real good sport. Is giving credit where credit is due. Like, I'll put it like this. If my brother was to die right now after all the bullshit he put me through, I may be able to absorb the last, but I'm not going to like the last if he tries to put me in a fuck situation. If my brother dies right now and he thinks, I put in all that work, I helped him out, I did this and that, I'm like, you treated me like shit the entire way. When I got girlfriends and when I started to deal with a gang, you still treated me like I was the same little kid. You put me in a position where I can't call out, dude, I'm dodging bullets every day, I do this and that, and literally, you're like, oh, little Aris think he can put in work. And literally, the craziest shit about that is, I could talk to him about that shit. I could prove it in person. If a gang was to attack the family, I could mop the entire fucking gang. But it doesn't matter. He'll still treat me the same. Like, little nigga, you weren't growing up with the Platinum Boys. Little nigga, you weren't doing this and that. Little this and that. I'm not going to feel sorry for him if he ends up fucking up with his ego. If he talks to a wrong person that way when I'm not around and he fucks him up, I'm going to be like, oh, sorry, old Yeller. I tried to tell you. It doesn't matter how much information you achieve. It's how you treat people. Don't think that literally that everything's just a stereotype. If you think that people are perfect, that people haven't had bumpy roads, then Steve Jobs was not a drug addict. Enough of this bullshit. I will consider my brother an insect even though he put in all that work because there's a bigger principle at hand where it comes to my other family that he's tried to ignore and he says that it doesn't exist, but they talk to him and he understands how gangs work. He understands how complex the situation is, but because I can't literally brag cool kid, literally, I'm nothing, I can't prove him wrong. And he can always use that excuse as long as the situation stays the same. But what if the situation eventually changes? He's going to crumble, and I'm not going to feel sorry for him because I already made sure I had something to fall back on. At that point, my brother is the insect that I don't know. But I'm able to recognize that he's a life form. I'm able to recognize that he is a part of the circle of life. I give credit where credit is due, and that is going to be way more beneficial than actually have a closed mind to when complex situations like those occur. Literally, you're going to think that you're going to get away without having to deal with nearly as much of that shit. If you don't have to deal with gang activity, you have to deal with stress. That's what comes with women. There's always an obstacle that comes with it. If not, literally, you already come from a good family. You already know, yada, this and that. But literally, That's what I mean by I do not feel sorry for you, because I gave you all the information needed in order for you not to feel like an insect, in order for you not to feel insecure, in order for you not to do this and that. Because what you have to do in order to fit in general versus what I have to do woman and to fit in general is a fucking insect. A lot of nerds are like, oh, this guy's black, oh, this guy's naturally talented, oh, this guy is this and that, oh, I was an anime fan just like you. When I got into junior high, I couldn't dance. I couldn't do any of that. I was white to the fucking fullest. I have to let you guys know that, literally, you guys, when you guys put out outfit and shit, when you guys literally did the same techniques I do, you guys would be way more successful. People blame my green eyes for everything. I got no play in high school. I was an anime fan to the fullest, literally. I was literally Obito 24/7 fiending for a Rin. Over and over again, 24/7, dude. That's not cool. Do you want to know how I got out of it? Is that I realized that literally you guys have it easier. You guys have it way easier. You guys are white and you still don't take advantage of the resources you have. You guys are white and you trying to get girls. You'll be able to catch on way faster, and society will provide you way more tools versus me when I'm trying to get my life together. You don't understand. That's why your situation is an insect compared to mine. Where it comes to girls and shit like that, do you understand how much more you would fit in if you use the same techniques as me? If you change your wardrobe and get white and you use your money to your advantage just like me, do you know how much of an advantage you have? And you know how much of a quick start and head start you would get over me because you're white? Looks don't matter. You can try to pull that shit all you want, but look up the statistics of actual personality. Personality will always outdo looks when it comes to women. But you, what you guys want, if you want that little paid life and you get to fuck girls all the time, but you literally get to be known as the kid who's finally living the life he wanted to live in high school when he should have his own shit by now, then be my guest. But you would have a way better head start when you use your YouTube money to your advantage than I do, because you're actually white. Imagine you changing up your wardrobe 24/7. Imagine you stepping up your mouthpiece. It's way harder to reverse psychology when you talk to girls. I'm put a higher standard and required more in society by default. I have to put more work in. You can get your shit within a lightning bolt. I swear. This is literally the privileges that white people have over black people. And you're sitting complaining about bitches and shit. If you actually try to get bitches, do you know that there are less things blocking your way from actually getting jobs that actually gain fucking resources? You guys can get all that shit way easier, but you guys don't have game, and that's the catch-22. I had to learn game because I used to be in a white person's position. I used to be spoiled. I used to be this and that, but you guys aren't using the tools that are handed to you. Now, we already know the situation is, it's because I do use the tools effectively, and you fuck around with them is why we're put in this predicament. They're not always going to rely on you just because you're the only employees around. If you're unreliable, you're going to get fired. That's plain and simple. It's called business. Life is a business, and you have to treat it like such. You have to treat it like what is going to be the most beneficial move instead of what's going to be the most selfish move and beneficial for only me. That's how you live life. You can't consider everybody around you an insect when you know they have specific roles to play. Now, if they literally become an insect over time because they drained all their fucking juice and they become a fucking raisin and shit, then yeah, of course you can consider them an insect because they're willing to not think on a complex level. If you're willing to think like you have an insect mind, then literally I feel sorry for you. You don't feel sorry for an insect. You don't feel sorry for a fellow god. You don't feel sorry for a fellow organism. You don't feel sorry for a fellow life form. When you don't give credit where credit is due, that is really, really bad. But I understand where you're coming from. Everything's going my way, but I'm still considerate of you nerds, and you're not considerate for me for shit. So anyway, that is the insect speech. You don't view people as an insect, but you will view them over time, literally. If they literally try to put on a persona and you know you're at a way higher power level, do not literally punch down and get at their level. Recognize that they have to put in the work and tell them they have to put in the work. Because what would the world be without insects? And that's why father is a villain. That's a very childish mindset. You don't feel sorry for an insect on the ground. Yet, literally, when I put myself in their position where I saw less insect, I started to feel more for them. I used to stomp them all the time. Nowadays, I'm wondering if insects still exist. You understand once everything fucking goes your way, but you actually earned it instead of literally just growing in your fame, like literally oblivious to what the personal life is. That's why they keep on trying to delay me being an actual celebrity on paper, because I'm not in denial. They want me to have a shitty personal life so they can rip on me like Michael Jackson and Kanye West. And literally, that's exactly what they want to happen. But because I do not have an insect mentality, because I actually understand what the media business holds, and I'm not a fucking idiot who just believes change without rotation. If you don't know what that means they have to pay for their own equipment. So they're basically living a fucking occupation. They're living a community college job when they're an entertainer. And yes, behind the scenes, they treat Kanye and they treat Michael Jackson like they're insects, even though they already achieved greatness, but they're giving them something in return. They're giving them something, but look at, literally, Michael Jackson, half family. Kanye West, already married. You don't look at the inside of the situation. They're ready for my situation to get similar like theirs before they get my shit on paper. So you can only think ignorant for so long, nerds.